Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another edition of the Tank's World podcast. I am your host, Tank, and I have a guest, Proto-Matt.
Where is he?
I think he's...
I love his work. Except for all the cooking, except for all the try videos. Those suck.
Actually, yeah, kind of.
In fact, now I think about it, all his videos suck. He should burn into a fire. Hello, I'm Proto-Matt.
Well, after he pretty much wounded himself, the movie we'll be talking about today, if you haven't looked at the thumbnail while we're talking, is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3.
And I didn't burn myself nearly as bad as this movie did its audiences.
Yes! My Christ.
There's a reason why this was the last Turtles movie for a while.
Oh, yeah.
There's also the reason why the next time they tried anything live-action Turtles related, it was a stupid TV show that nobody wants to talk about.
Wait, have you already talked about it?
No, not yet.
God, that was bad.
I know. I rewatched it a few months back.
I just remember you, giving me it. I finished it, but you also gave me Masked Rider, and I couldn't finish that.
So that's where it is on the scale of shit. It's watchable, but...
Yeah, it's watchable, but I recommend doing something else as it's playing in the background.
And the damnedest thing is, apparently it's canon to these movies.
Okay. What?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Turtles 3.
Turtles 3, yes.
Sometimes referred to as Turtles in Time, which is the wrong name for it, because that's the name of the video game.
That is actually quite fun.
In fact, I think it's Turtles 4 Turtles in Time.
Yeah, I think you're right there. Yeah.
I mean, I get why it's mistaken for being the title for this one, but it's not.
No, well, yeah, there is a time travel aspect of this movie, but...
The aspect of the movie? That's the entire plot.
Yeah.
Like, shit, the entire premise of this movie is time travel. Also, some other stuff happens because of time travel.
Yeah.
But we should probably start talking about the movie proper, shouldn't we?
Why? Oh, wait. This is my podcast, and I suppose we should.
Yeah.
So, the movie pretty much starts out with the turtles dancing in the sewer. And April coming down with, presents.
I thought it started in feudal Japan.
Oh, yeah, it did start in feudal Japan.
Where we are introduced to Norinaga, a warlord who is... he's a warlord during the Sengoku period of Japan. So obviously he's trying to conquer some stuff.
Yeah, pretty much.
His whole deal is that there's a European English guy trying to sell him guns for use in warfare.
But it wasn't in that time, didn't the samurai already have gun?
Yeah, they did. They had plenty of guns. This movie doesn't care about actual history, though.
No, it does not. So
it also doesn't care about the fact that the first visitors to Japan were the Dutch.
Maybe the guy's Dutch.
Because they have it later where one character is explaining that they were making trade deals with England or something.
Yeah.
So this character is supposed to be an English character during a time when the Japanese were doing trade deals with the Dutch.
The Dutch.
Bear in mind that Japan also was in a heavy no foreigners period at around this point too. So,
so they don't really like the English
And that's just getting it. That's just one aspect of this movie I have a problem with.
You were really quiet while we were watching this yesterday.
I was trying to distract myself from that terrible.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason why James Rolfe cut this movie in half.
Yeah. It's
It's one of his most famous scenes as angry video game nerd, and it wasn't even a video game review.
It was, I believe, it was his first movie review, technically.
Yes,
and
he hasn't really done anything with that since in terms of the angry video game nerd character.
Yeah. As James Rolfe, I think they.
Oh, he's reviewed tons of movies.
Yeah,
I mean, Monster Madness is a whole thing.
Yeah,
but in terms of the angry video game nerd character.
He only done that, unless you count him reviewing, did he review a bad movie when him and the critic were beefing?
Yes. Yes, I do recall that, but I don't remember which movie.
It was like a parody to Rocky, but, you know.
Oh, yeah. I don't even remember what that was called.
But that's like the
so
only time that, as a nerd, that he did something movie related next to the
on his channel.
Yeah.
I do recall that he also did do a co-op review with Nostalgia Critic for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Coming Out of Their Shell tour. So we're also introduced to Norinaga's son, Kenshi. Who is basically introduced in this movie just so that we have a character who gets literally sidetracked for the entire rest of the movie.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like
this character has some relevance, but he may as well not even appeared in the movie for as much as he actually accomplishes.
He's in it enough, but he doesn't say shit. He just leers at his father's army people. Or soldiers.
But anyway, back to April visiting the turtles with trips from her vacation, or whatever.
Or she's going on vacation, or I don't know.
I assume
she technically does she goes to Japan.
I think she went to a rummage sale or flea market or something.
Yeah, she had old stuff.
And she somehow managed to find some really weird scepter-looking thing, which causes her to be travel back in time via mass displacement.
Yes.
Bringing Kenshi back from ancient Japan to the present day. And bringing April back to the ancient Japan from the present day.
And, something like that. So, and pretty much in Turtles lore of the live-action movies...
MacGuffin!
Oh, yes. But also, he's all, nervous and scared because he's seeing bipedal turtles.
Which he recognizes Kappa.
Yeah.
Which are yokai, which, admittedly, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, but
they like the bull on their head, but...
But then, in the previous films, Splinter shows up and tells everyone to calm down, and he faints.
Yep. So that's the third time this has happened.
Yep. Just
lovely.
Mm-hmm.
April, who is stuck back in the past everybody in Norinaga's court, including the European gun dealer, thinks she's a witch.
Yep. She has a Walkman. And she hits a button, or accidentally hits a button, and it starts playing the music.
And they destroy it.
Yeah, just tell me to shut it off next time.
But yeah, she winds up in a dungeon with a guy who looks like Casey Jones, with the actor from the first movie reprising his role as Casey in the present day to go along with this.
He does more in this movie than even that Kenshi.
From the it's ouch.
Oh Christ. Then they're trying to figure out how to turn the scepter thingy on
so that they can bring April back, and they end up traveling back in time and bringing Norinaga's honor guard back to the present with them, and It's in the middle of a battle, and
Michelangelo ends up on a horse backwards.
and he just goes. He leaves the film for a little bit, basically.
The turtles end up.
Leo and Donnie.
Yeah, end up getting bucked off their horses and land into like some water or something, and
some stuff happens.
yes, like apparently, I think Donnie says, "I think I swallowed a frog, and I hope it wasn't an ancestor." Okay, there was a line that did make me kind of like laugh. One, Kenshi is actually getting rewoken up from by the turtles. Mikey's just there, kind of waving him with a hat, and he goes, as like Donnie is trying to explain stuff, he just pokes Kenshi and says, "How did you get into April's pants?"
Also, it's during their initial interaction with Kenshi that they learn that he's from ancient Japan, that he can speak English because according to Donnie, around this time they were having trade deals with England, which was not what was happening.
Dutch.
I've already been over this before in the podcast. I mean, I get that it's a convenient out for them to just have all the characters speaking in English throughout the duration of the movie.
Yeah.
But shit.
I think that guy's name, the European gun dealer, is named Walker.
Yeah, that's what it is. I keep forgetting what his name is because despite being the only recognizable character in this entire movie after decades, I still don't give a crap about him.
Yeah, so now the turtles actually like follow a bunch of people back into like the village or
the stronghold or whatever.
Yeah.
They managed to find April in the dungeon, free her and not Casey Jones, and escape through.
Well, the turtles start fighting a bunch of like guards and stuff. Then April frees the Casey character.
And then they escape through what is basically a sewer drain. Basically.
Yep.
And land in not shit. Apparently. Apparently they got lucky.
Yep. Mud wrestling is a something sport, or I can't remember. But
the only reason I can confirm that they didn't land in shit is because one character comments on the fact that they were glad that they didn't land in. As a sign of this could have been worse. We could have landed in.
Yeah. Then April's like, don't even say it.
So yeah.
Yeah. Then Mikey is still riding, and then a lady knocks him off the horse, and he gets pretty much knocked out.
Yes, and then he wakes up in a village.
Mm-hmm.
The other turtles, April and not Casey, are at like a river, and they get attacked by locals.
Yeah. Cletus the Slackjaw Yoko.
But the whole situation kind of gets diffused when the turtles reveal that they're not humans, and they recognize, oh, you're like that one other guy we got in our village. It's like, oh, you know where Mikey is.
Yeah.
It's a good fight scene, I will admit.
Yeah. Good action. The costumes on the turtles in this movie.
I knew at some point we'd have to address this. These are the worst costumes the turtles have had in any of the three movies.
Mm-hmm. Yes, a lot of spots.
Yeah, a lot of blatant spots.
Yeah, just like, okay. Maybe it's their acne. They are teenagers.
The mouth movements are incredibly stiff. The eyes are fine.
Yeah.
They do a fine job with the eyes.
But, just...
They're definitely a lot more prominent than they were in the original movie. Which I think that worked pretty well in the first movie.
Oh, yeah.
The eyes were quite fine, and now they're just like huge cartoonish eyes by this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I heck even want to say that they were probably this big in the previous movie, but I can't remember that far back. It's been so long ago since we talked about this.
Yeah, we just haven't had time to do, and plus it's kind of my fault. I keep forgetting that we had to do this.
And I keep winding up being busy, so
Yep.
the fact that we're doing this now is kind of lucky.
I think the like Turtles 2 was technically
Sometime last year.
Yeah.
I don't even remember when. It was too long ago. It's ancient history. It could have
Yep.
been like 10 years ago. It was last year you just said, "Shut up," voice in my head.
Yes. So,
Anyway, the Turtles team up with the locals and start heading back to their village, which they find under attack from the gun dealers.
Walker, his group.
Yeah.
And, like, Mikey ends up saving a little boy from a fire.
Yeah, but that's kind of jumping ahead a bit because by that point, Walker and his men end up seeing Mikey and realizing, oh, shit, not humans.
Mm-hmm.
Demons.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get the heck out of here. Try. It's actually because of that and the previous encounter with the Turtles that Norinaga decides to finally buy guns from Walker, who then jacks up the price because back when he was making his offer, it was just Norinaga versus humans. Now it's against demons.
Yeah.
Situation change. Also, I have a cannon.
Yep. They existed back then.
Yes, they did. Just like guns in Japan existed at this point.
Yeah, then, well, I think,
And then it's about this point that Mikey saves a little boy from dying in a fire.
Mm-hmm. Then Leo does CPR, and one of the girls are like his big sisters.
Oh yeah, the local rebels are led by a girl named Mitsu, who is apparently Kenshi's girlfriend. If we're to believe the truth, if we're to believe the context.
Okay.
I can't speak.
I can see that. Hey, give us a break. We did a bad movie a couple days ago.
And you won't even know about that until later this month.
Yeah.
So yeah, feel for us. At least I didn't fall asleep during this movie. Spoilers for that review.
Yeah, that was funny. I finished that movie, then you just let it go to like the title screen, and I just went home.
But that's a topic for another podcast over on another channel.
Yeah.
Which you'll find out later this month.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
It's not like you're going to have to wait almost 3 weeks or something. No.
Yes, that is actually what that means. Because it's coming out at the end of the month. So, yeah.
Yeah, so,
it's more than 3 weeks.
Actually, now that I remember, it's, Mikey's chasing some person, and then he sees Walker on a horse and compares him to Clint Eastwood.
I can't remember if it was Clint Eastwood or John Wayne. Either way, he
thought
he looked like a cowboy for some reason. Yeah. That was
Did
odd.
you know that westerns are dead? No, but points is good. Ah! Then his lead lackey gets wet willied.
That's the only character in this movie that I remember, to be honest. And it's only because of this scene.
Yeah, the wet willy makes him fire,
shooting Walker's hat off, causing the arms dealers to retreat.
Yep. And then Mikey gets back together with his brothers and
saves the little boy from the fire. And then they realize they don't have the scepter. And then later that night, Mikey's talking with the kid he saved. Or no, it's Raph who's talking with the kid that Mikey saved. And Raph is...
There's a few other things that happen before we get there.
I know Raph is a bit upset over the fact that the kids are looking forward to fighting against Norinaga's army, despite being kids. But they're in feudal Japan. It's kind of just part of the territory at that point. I mean, don't get me wrong. I empathize with Raph, but
instead he kind of tells them to put the sticks down, and then they play with kites. Then they're trying to have a blacksmith make another scepter thingy.
Bearing in mind that they're just having to recreate the scepter from memory. They don't actually know how the damn thing works.
Exactly.
So... But then the little boy, Yoshi, I forgot his name was Yoshi until just now.
Yoshi!
I should have remembered that because Yoshi. You probably picked that name because of the little dinosaur from Mario.
Maybe. So,
he and Raph have a chat.
Then,
Yoshi's upset because he knows that the turtles are going to die in the fight against Norinaga's forces the next day. And realizes in order to prevent them from dying, he gives them the scepter that he found earlier.
Yeah.
So now the turtles have the scepter.
Yeah.
Except Norinaga's forces show up with guns and a fight.
Yeah, the fight happens.
Walker steals the scepter.
Yep. Actually, the Casey Jones
stand-in. He decides to betray them because he's been working for Walker the entire time as a spy. Although apparently he got locked up for trying to mutiny in the first place. So
then he, each kind of the turtles end up fighting like a bunch of guards, and then Leo ends up taking on what's his name? The leader,
Walker, Norinaga,
because they have a sword fight, and
I think that's a little later, because I know that the gun sellers kidnap Mitsu and take her to Norinaga's place.
Oh, yeah.
Mitsu tells Norinaga that Walker has the scepter. Walker's like, I don't know what she's talking about. Except she totally does have the scepter.
Well, I think after that, he gives Walker the scepter.
No, Walker has the scepter. Because Norinaga wants the scepter. And he was trying to get the information out of Mitsu, who says that Walker has the scepter. And I've already checked out by this point in the movie. Because I am not seeing any other mutants aside from the turtles. So I am pissed. Says 5-year-old me. 5-year-old me didn't care.
Yeah.
5-year-old me just watched the movie and liked it. Because I was dumb as a 5-year-old.
Well, yeah. It was a Turtles movie. So. Didn't know better. After seeing James's little review on it, I just remember, well, was it really that bad? Then
you rewatched it.
Oh yeah. But and again, some people out there think this is their favorite version, but I don't know why.
I mean, I will give this movie some credit. This kind of adventure doesn't seem too outside of the wheelhouse for Turtles. There have been crazier adventures. I mean, the comics alone, they had a whole dimension hopping storyline. Just trying to find Splinter at one point. Shit got crazy. So this kind of story doesn't seem too out of place for Turtles. I just think that it was perhaps a tad too early for this kind of story to be a live action movie.
What they could have done, I know that character's not part of the Turtles series, but that
Usagi Yojimbo, yeah.
But I've seen him in they've had crossovers.
Oh yeah, a ton.
But they have another mutant. Okay.
It was probably just a licensing issue because he's owned by a different character or a different author. So. Plus, it's a whole other dimension.
Yeah.
It still could have worked. You could have just had the scepter be a dimension hopping thing.
Yeah.
But
I get still gone somewhere.
I get why they didn't go with any more mutants for this movie. Save on the budget. Just have a bunch of Asian actors, not necessarily Japanese.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Kind of lost track of our train of thought there.
Yeah. So we were there going to the temple to go and save Mitsu, and they actually get her out of the cage because she got put in the little box cage like what April and the Casey variant was in.
I do not remember that, but to be fair, I was checked out.
So it's pretty much what happens. They go into the prison, I guess, and that big guy is just doing his thing, his job technically. I don't even really think.
The warden?
Yeah,
he showed up a couple times before. Didn't have any lines, so I didn't.
Well, he didn't. He didn't speak. He just, I think it was Raphael kind of just swings his size around or something, and he gets the Mitsu out of the cage, and he crawls in and kind of just rolls his big ass back up. He was scared.
Okay, yeah. I had checked out, so. So I did not remember the scene at all. I just remember
you checked out twice, technically, during 2 bad movies.
But I didn't fall asleep. I just didn't care enough to keep paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
All I really remember was they found their way to the war room or whatever. Mm-hmm. We're looking over plans or something. I don't remember exactly for what, but whatever. It was
like a scroll that had the pictures of the demon,
the Kappa.
The cap was on there, and it's then they fight, and it gets pretty close to the climax of the movie. They're all
Leo and Norinaga have a sword fight.
Leo ends up getting getting the upper hand and
drops an iron bell on him.
Well, first he chops off his ponytail.
Top knot.
Just
cuts off his top knot with his swords.
He's
finish
me. All right, finish me off. All right. Leo pulls up the second sword, put it like a scissors, and he's thinking he's gonna get decapitated, but how was that?
Snips his top knot off.
And then he starts running, and then Leo ends up chopping the rope holding the giant bell.
Something distracts Norinaga and causes him to stop in his place, which gives Leo the opportunity to cut the rope and drop the iron bell on top of him.
Then
he lives, but
yeah. Then Donnie comes and whacks the bell with his bow staff, and you just hear, "Ah!"
Meanwhile, Walker's trying to make his escape with both his pet bird, who he keeps having around, he keeps forgetting.
Mm-hmm.
It's twice that he tries to escape without the bird. And the scepter, he tries to escape with them and just try to leave.
But before that, Leo pretty much challenges him to shoot them. And he's like, okay.
So he goes to his cannon and shoots at them. Leo ducks his head into his shell,
and the
cannonball
hits the
bell. And Norinaga is finally free again. Though he's
very discombobulated.
His hair looks like he's been in an electrical outlet.
Then Walker just starts fleeing, and he's literally opens him.
Once he realizes that he's been cornered between the turtles and the ocean, he decides to just put his cards all on the table and tosses the scepter up into the air while trying to make his escape. But the turtles manage to catch the scepter.
Yep.
And knock Walker into the ocean, and he gets killed by a terrible jump cut.
Yes.
Just awful edited. He's just awfully edited out of the movie.
Yeah, it's like literally you don't. Well, you technically hear a splash, but you don't see him go into the water.
You just kind of see him
disappear,
fall into a warp.
Yep.
A tiny warp that just kind of engulfs him. Not the water, just kind of a warp. It's a terrible effect once you notice it.
Yeah, just like, what the fuck?
And then you will never not notice it from now on. Go and rewatch that scene and see how terrible that effect is. You will never not see that anymore.
Then, pretty much, they got the scepter, and Mikey pretty much says he doesn't want to go home.
Yeah, I think it's him and
Raph.
Him and Raph don't want to go because in the present day, they're literally living in the sewers, just secretly protecting the New Yorkers from crimes and stuff. In ancient Japan, though, they can live among the people and be free.
Yeah, pretty much. And
but
April is like, I want to go the fuck home. Not in them words, but.
Now I feel like at around this point we should cut back to what's been going on in the present.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, we forgot about that.
Not that it really mattered, to be honest.
Kenji.
Kenji. Kenji's super upset and just kind of pissed off the entire time because he wants to go back to help Mitsu.
Yep.
Because, again, they're practically lovers at this point. I don't care. But Splinter is like, there.
Yeah.
Casey Jones is trying to show Kenji and the honor guards that came back in the Turtles' place stuff.
They're about to like
leave.
No, they're about to fight earlier in the movie, and then all of a sudden Casey stands up and gets ready to swing the hockey sticks around. Everyone he grabs the TV remote, turns on the TV, and then they all just whoa.
Then later he teaches them how to play hockey.
They only see the fighting in the hockey.
At some point they go to a bar.
Yep.
And they dance to Baltimore's Tarzan Boy, which is easily my favorite part of the movie, to be honest. Yep. It's like the one part of this movie I actually vividly remember. It's the entire reason. It's a goddamn catchy song.
Yeah.
It's I freaking love that song. And it's easily the most memorable part of this movie, which is saying something.
It's funny because the most memorable scene you'd think would be something including the Turtles, but no.
No, it's just like a cutaway gag, practically.
Yep.
And then they reprise it during the end credits, so you can actually hear it. But
oh yeah.
But anyway, Casey gathers up the honor guards and Kenshi because it's about time for the scepter to activate.
Yeah.
Also, I feel I should mention that the entire reason that they're even having a debate about whether or not they should go back is because after Kenshi showed up, Donnie determined that they had 2 days to get to get April back and themselves back to the present day. Otherwise, time and space would, I guess, collapse in upon itself or something. Or at the very least,
so much technical babble.
Or at the very least, they'd be unable to return.
Yeah,
is what the. So that's why this movie takes place across 2 days, apparently.
Alright.
But anyway, they finally agree to go. The Turtles finally agree to go back to the present day. And
Mikey just about misses it.
Practically, yeah. So the Turtles and April travel back to the future, except Mikey's not there because
his honor guard is still technically there,
and the honor guard just decides to flee. But as he's making his way out of the sewer, the scepter activates again and brings Mikey back.
Yep,
giving everybody a happy ending.
And then we hear Tarzan Boy again.
Mikey's upset. Splinter puts a lampshade on his head and calls it a funny. Mm-hmm. Kenshi, I guess, takes over for his dad, who's now, I guess, a prisoner or something. I'm really not entirely certain.
I don't even know. he.
Also, the scepter in the present day is all messed up.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, it's just fine in the past, which okay.
Why not?
It needs to get to the present day at some point.
Yep. And back in Japan, they just smooch it out, and she's just surprised.
And then the movie ends with the turtles dancing and having fun, and
Yep.
then some song, and then another song, and then Baltimore is Tarzan Boy. This movie was not a good movie.
No.
The entire crux of this movie relies heavily on a MacGuffin that is never explained, which admittedly isn't unusual for movies. I mean, Transformers the movies had a MacGuffin, and that was handled pretty well. But this one hinges entirely on April just kind of happening upon a magical scepter that nobody knows where it came from. I mean, heck, I think Kenshi only even finds it because
he's having a fit and he pushes over a statue.
Apparently the scepter was hidden inside the statue. Who put it there? Who knows? How did it end up at the flea market that April got that? Who knows?
I have no clue. It's just...
How is this thing even supposed to work? I don't know, magic. It's magic. You don't need to explain it because it's magic. It's bullshit.
Well... Magic, yeah, but technically at the same time, a whole bunch of science babble.
Yeah, this...
Well, that's Donnie for you, though.
Again, this movie wouldn't have been so bad had it maybe come out maybe as the 4th or 5th Turtles movie, by which point would have had already exhausted all the characters that kids were more familiar with, like Krang, Bebop and Rocksteady, any of the other characters from the TV show. But no, they just decided to jump...
Triceratopses.
Triceratons, I think they're called?
I
Can't remember.
Yeah, they had a lot of, like, villains.
Yeah. But to just kind of go from two movies involving... One movie establishing the Turtles, another movie furthering the idea of the mutagen, and then just randomly jump to time travel antics. I'm flailing my arms about, and you can't see it, but I'm at a loss for words.
And, well...
Just imagine me just kind of throwing my hands up in the air multiple times while they're already still in the air. And you get a good idea of what...
this.
It's like, I give up! I give up!
It's, okay, it's definitely the weakest of all three films. The original one is still the best in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
It's the original one. You can definitely tell from each one, like the original one was kind of more on the comic more based.
Yeah, it was definitely a bit more gritty.
Yeah.
I hesitate to say more mature because
No.
it's mutant turtles.
Yeah. But more gritty. You know.
Like it was trying to take its story a bit seriously and actually explain what's going on.
Second one, more silly.
Yeah.
Sort of silly.
A bit close.
Sort of more towards the like TV show.
Yeah.
And we get this pile of crap.
This one that just is some random adventure that
Yep.
just plopped in there like the shit it is.
Mm-hmm. And the bunch of shit the turtles landed in.
Hee hee.
I think it was garbage.
Yeah, I have to agree.
Like, the villains in this ones are okay, but...
They're forgettable.
Very! Because, now if they would have, like we said before, if they would have brought, like, some... Like Krang. I know Stockman couldn't work because feudal Japan, but, you know, something we would recognize.
Yeah, I really feel they should have done something a bit more fantastical for the third movie before jumping into time travel. Again, admittedly, it probably would have been over the top for them to even include the Technodrome, but...
Yeah, at least show a Mouser.
I think I think probably by this point the guys who were even making the movie realized that the writing was on the wall when it came to the popularity of the Turtles. They were on the way out. Power Rangers was on the way in. It was just like on that cusp. This movie came out and disappointed a bunch of people.
Yeah, it's not good. Like I really enjoyed it as a kid, but because I was just a dumb kid. Now that I'm an adult, I'm like, how? Okay, I can give this movie a little bit of credit because there are some lines that did make me chuckle, not like blow it out laugh.
Unfortunately, just a couple lines are not enough to save an entire movie.
No. But, and like we said, the costumes are pretty bad. Like,
yeah.
I can't really think of anything else.
Nothing's really coming to mind other than just I don't want to think about this movie ever again. And hopefully I never do. But inevitably I will.
For some reason. Alright. We're going to bring this podcast to an end. I am Tank.
I'm Protomet.
See ya.